Good morning, everybody. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about apprenticeships and go through some of the opportunities that are available. Okay, so just a little bit about us. As you probably are aware, we are Higher Horizons and we're a network of universities working with a selected rather large project which aims to close the gap, lift barriers and offer funding and learning opportunities for students, of which apprenticeships falls under that. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to have a little bit of a session. Bear with me, my computer's just gone all funny. Oh dear, my computer's playing up. Bear with me 1 second, guys. There we go. Okay, so yeah, we are funded by the Office for Students, and the role, the most important aspect of our role is that we inform central government of the effectiveness of outreach programmes. And we have all of these sessions that we're doing for the broadcast can go live onto our YouTube channel. Please use the chat to ask us lots of questions throughout this morning, and if you enjoyed today's session, feel free to leave us some feedback. I'm going to set you a little question in a minute to get you thinking. But the aims of the session this morning is to understand the term apprenticeship, to explain the different routes towards higher education, to offer practical advice regarding apprenticeships, the costs, the benefits and how and where to apply. Okay, so what is an apprenticeship? Well, an apprenticeship combines on-the-job training with classroom or guided learning and provides the skills you need for your chosen career, leading to formal qualifications. As an apprentice, you will earn while you learn and receive other employment benefits as well. So let's have a little look. So yes, you can be 16 above before you start to apply. You get to earn salary, gain qualifications, but actually the most important aspect of going for apprenticeships is your enthusiasm, because you are effectively going for a job role. So who can be an apprentice? Well, anybody really. Anyone from the age of 16 up can apply for an apprenticeship and benefit from the programme. That could be whether you're a school leaver, thinking about retraining or upskilling later on in your career, or looking at an alternative to going into full-time study. So if you wanted to not go to university and you wanted to sort of gain those work skills, yet still get good qualifications up to degree and master's level, you can do that through an apprenticeship route. Let's have a little look at the routes to higher education. So once you finish your GCSEs, there's a few routes available. So we're going to have a little look at these levels. So we've got level 2, which is GCSE level. In an apprenticeship, that would be intermediate apprenticeship. Level 3 is A level or BTEC. That's kind of advanced level apprenticeship. Level 4 and 5. Level 4 and 5 is the first 2 years of a degree. But if you were going through college, you could probably look at doing something like a foundation degree or HNC, HND. For apprenticeships, that would be the higher level. And for anything above degree level 6, so that's the final year of a degree or a top-up year if you were going the HNC or HND route, or that would be in an apprenticeship role, that would be a degree apprenticeship. And you can go on to level 7, which is also a degree apprenticeship as well. There are some apprenticeship providers that require you to complete every level stage by stage, and there's really good reasons for this. If you can imagine an aircraft technician who works on aeroplane engines jumping in at a higher level without getting all the underpinning knowledge of an intermediate or an advanced level, you probably wouldn't want to get on that aeroplane. So it's really important that all the information, all that knowledge is gained right from the very basics right through to the higher level and degree level. Okay, so as you can see, looking with those little post-its at the top, we've got intermediate, advanced, higher and degree. And again, I'm just reminding you of what those levels look like. So we've got GCSEs, A levels and above. And we're just looking at some of the jobs sectors that you can train for. Now I've got a list of some companies that you could possibly look at as a great example for apprenticeships, but here we are with the job roles themselves. So this is not an exhaustive list. There are loads more areas that you might want to think about, but these are the main ones. So accountancy, construction, digital marketing, engineering, finance, healthcare, law, manufacturing, nursing, retail, software development, sport, TV production, broadcasting and visual effects. So this is kind of a list of a lot of the companies that I've managed to put together for some of the best places really to get some good apprenticeships. But small companies, if you had a company of 1 or 2 people, you could still get an apprenticeship through that. So the list here just goes on and on. These are just the main ones that I could think of. So the opportunities are there. I'm really sorry if I'm cutting out on signal. My signals are a little bit sketchy today, so just bear with me. This will be all available on recorded as well. Okay. Next screen. Okay, so if we were to look at the NHS as a provider of apprenticeships, I just want to go through the sort of scope of sectors within one organisation. The NHS is a big animal, and actually when you break it down into chunks such as nursing, allied health professionals, leadership and management, pharmacy, you've actually within each one of those sections got quite a long list of opportunities. Again, this is not an exhaustive list. This is just the main stuff that I've managed to pick out of one NHS Foundation trust. So I can imagine that the possibilities within other trusts is quite big as well. So if you look here at the business admin, customer support, reception staff, you've got business administration level 2 and 3, customer services. I think if you look at things like the healthcare sciences, you can do level 6 healthcare science degrees, cardiac physiology, neurophysiology, and all that. So areas you could sort of look to do higher levels in. So actually there's quite a lot of opportunity and a lot of scope to move on. I think if you go back to the business administration area, so if you've gone to do business administration level 2 and 3, you might want to look at doing business studies business management later on for an apprenticeship role. So you can sort of move on quite easily. Okay, so these are just some of the examples of the more creative apprenticeships available. So we've got things like special effects set designers, we've got tattoo artists. One that's very much in demand is apprenticeships in blacksmiths. So the farriers that come and fit horseshoes and create metal ornaments. We've got things like chocolatiers. How much can I expect to earn? Well, apprenticeship pay is typically starts at the national minimum wage, and it would obviously depend on your age when you start. So we've got 16 to 18, it's showing as $4.15 an hour. Or if you're 19 and still in your first year of an apprenticeship, it's $4.15 and above. So it doesn't have to be, but that's the minimum. So you probably might find that you earn a little bit more. Age 19 and over and completed your first year, you're entitled to national minimum wage, which I think at the moment is $8.72, but I can't see my notes screen to see. Okay, so holidays. The great thing about doing an apprenticeship is you get minimum 20 days paid holiday per year plus bank holidays, and obviously you get the benefits of being an employer as well. So did you know now that all police constables need to have a degree in policing? There are a couple of different routes now into getting a degree in policing. The first one is looking at doing an apprenticeship with the police, so you could do a degree apprenticeship. The second is to go into university and do a degree in policing. Or if you already have a degree, you could do a 2-year training course, which is like a mini apprenticeship to top up to a degree apprenticeship in policing. Sounds to me, it's very straightforward. Some really good routes if you were thinking about going into a police constable role. We'll be looking at courses around public service, citizenship, sociology, psychology, sciences, law, criminology. Really useful areas if you were considering going into those roles. You get a starting salary as 21,000 and potential to go up to 39,000 after 7 years. Something you didn't expect. Fire service degree apprenticeships start at £20,000 and after 2 years you could be earning £30,000 and obtain a full degree, fully trained, fully skilled, experienced crew member working within the fire service. There are quite a few roles within the fire and rescue service, so it's definitely worth having a little look to see. I know currently there is a fire trust that are actually taking on apprenticeships at the moment, and Staffordshire Police are advertising 2 vacancies as well, and that's with a civilian role, so a non-uniform officer, so it's going to be more of an administrative role. So it's definitely worth having a little look to see what's out there. Okay, so how much does an apprenticeship cost? Wow. You don't need to pay anything towards an apprenticeship. Your training is funded by the government levy, so it's often your employer will just pay a very small top-up contribution and your salary. You will basically be an employee and the government will pay for your training. If you're working for a charity, the employer won't have to pay a penny. And the great thing about it is there is no student maintenance loans. So what will an apprenticeship involve? So when we think about how the role will involve, you're looking at 80% work, 20% study, and that could be whether you work full-time or part-time. 80% of that time will be actually doing the job. You'll look at doing an assessment of competence in the workplace. So your assessor will come out and observe you. There might be information given by your manager about whether you're competent in the role. You might study some maths and English and IT qualification alongside to help you if you haven't already got those. One of the main areas that you'll probably really focus on during your training is employees within the organisation. So it's going to look at a lot of the policies of where you're working and really understand where you fit into the organisation and what your responsibilities are. We're also personal learning and thinking skills will be developed. Your ability to problem solve is probably one of the most important aspects any employer can get from their employees. So it's about how you can apply those skills and how you can develop them further. You might have to do assignments, you might have to do a question and answer sheet, you might have to do observations or recorded discussions, you might produce a portfolio of pictures or video evidence to show that you are competent in the role. So it's very varied, and the great thing is with apprenticeships is no two are ever the same. So what if I've already found a job? Well, if your employer is happy, you can become an apprenticeship at your current place of work. There will be an expectation of the employer to support your training and allow your assessor to come in and observe you in the apprenticeship. So they will have to support you as best as they can to do the qualification and give you a little bit of time to do that as well. When can I start? Well, the wonderful thing about apprenticeships is they can pretty much be started at any time throughout the year. And once your employer agrees that you can quickly start, with college and FE and HE organisations, you tend to find they stick to sort of academic years, which if you kind of just start in the summer, you kind of want to get started on qualifications and not wait till September. Apprenticeships could be a great way to sort of get started. So how long will my apprenticeship take? Well, it depends on the type that you choose. Anything from 1 to 4 years, and you generally complete it in level stages at your pace, and that's another advantage over doing academic study within an institution, because To do it at your pace will be dictated by what you can do with the time that you have, as opposed to having massive amounts of deadlines. I know with higher level apprenticeships that's not the case. You probably will get more deadlines, but certainly at the lower end of the intermediate and advanced levels, you probably do it a little bit more at your own pace. So it will vary depending on the apprenticeship you do. Okay, so steps to getting into your apprenticeships. So you need to search for an apprenticeship. You probably have to go through some formal interview or assessment centre. So it's really handy if you get these opportunities at school to do interview techniques or mock interviews, and just sort of practice team building activities where you present yourself in a really good way. So it's really useful that you look towards useful resources to help you with interviews. Once you've commenced your placement or employment, an assessor will arrange an individual learning plan with you. So that's what you'll be doing in the role, what competencies you'll be looking to meet, and how you will be observed, assessed, or what sort of work you will have to produce. I keep getting bad signal popping up on my screen, so I'm so sorry if this is jumping in and out. Okay, so how to search and apply? Well, we've got quite a few opportunities here. So we've got find an apprenticeship through gov.uk. So we're going to look at that in just a moment as an example. We've got the student room. We've got UCAS. Another one is Multiverse. They're quite a big organisation now. They were started by Tony Blair's son, Ewan Blair, a few years ago. And we've also got a really good one called Amazing Apprenticeships. Definitely worth a look on those. If you can try and get on any of these, that would be really useful for you. There's lots of information about best ways to apply. There's also on Amazing Apprenticeships a little bit of advice on T-levels. So have a little look and see what you can find out. You'd be surprised. Okay, so if we go on to the gov.uk, so we have the find an apprenticeship route just there where we've got search and find an apprenticeship. You can just search through a list there, or you can create an account. So once you create an account, you just pop in your details. You'll be sent an activation code through your email, which is a 6-digit code, so you pop that in, and then you'll be able to search through and actually apply for any of the roles that come through. So you just pop in your location and your search area radius and what sort of level qualification you're after. You might get some really good list of some of the current vacancies that there are. I've grabbed a random one here that might be quite interesting to look at. I hope you can see this. If you're on a mobile device, it might be a bit tricky. So I do apologise if it's a bit small, but I'll just run through it with you. So at the top there, we've got the actual job role and the closing date, which are circled. A little bit about the role itself, a little bit of a summary about the organisation. So it looks like Hope Farm Medical Centre, and where you'll be studying is Manchester Metropolitan University for a 4-year period, working towards a chartered manager's degree. And it will say that you're spending time at practice in Ellesmere Port. Down the side, there's the wage, there's the working week, there's the hours that you'll do, the duration of the apprenticeship, the start dates, the distance away from where you are now, and what level apprenticeship it is. A little bit there about the actual job role, the desired skills, the personal qualities, and a little bit about who will be training you. So it'll be Manchester Metropolitan University. They will be the ones that you'll get your degree from, and how to apply for the role at the bottom in the middle, with a closing date on there as well. So really good information when you have a little look. There's some good, quite useful information when applying. Also UCAS, very proactive now with getting on to apprenticeships, so you can actually have a little search on there as well, and there's lots of advice on there as well. And also, did you know this week is actually National Apprenticeships Week, hence this session. So it's really worthwhile having a look at different colleges, and colleges in particularly are very keen on apprenticeships, and actually can sign you up and get you into an apprenticeship role. So please pursue that as a possible idea. If you're thinking university is not really for you, but you would still like to get some qualifications, or you'd still like to do a degree, but you'd like to go out to work, then this could be the answer for you. It could be just perfect. So I'm just going to recap quickly 10 reasons to consider. Number 1, earn while you learn. Well, that's a given, isn't it? That's wonderful. 2, gain qualifications. 3, you get job specific skills. 4, it's a route to a university degree. 5, gain real experience. 6, build your confidence. 7, meet lots of like-minded people. 8, get lots of options. 9, no student loans. 10, great prospects. Wonderful. Now I'm going to pose a question before we answer any other questions. I want you to have a think about this, and I would really love some responses if you could give them. If you yourself could do an apprenticeship, what would you do? Fire those through the chat and we'll read a few of them out. I just want to go to my colleague now and see if we have any questions.
Hi Sally. Yeah, questions have come in.
Okay.
First one is qualifications do I need to do before I apply for a degree apprenticeship?
What I would probably suggest is you look at what job you want to do, and plan a route of either going through the academic route and through the apprenticeship route, and see where you need to start. So you need to go through the chain really of the levels if you're going through an apprenticeship. So it would obviously depend on what you wanted to do apprenticeship wise, what qualification, and whether you wanted to go through GCSE, A-level, BTEC, or whether you wanted to go through intermediate, advanced, and then on to higher. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's brilliant. So basically you just need to follow the sort of apprenticeship route up, don't you, to get to a degree apprenticeship.
In most cases, yes. If you've got some underpinning knowledge already, so if you've got experience in certain areas or a qualification in certain areas, you might be able to jump to the next level. But in most cases, where the thing with apprenticeships is they tend to be a lot more practical, so you just need that underpinning knowledge to go up. So you can't just sort of bluff your way into a higher level. You have to have something behind it to move up to that next level.
That's brilliant. Oh, we've had somebody coming on the question answer saying that if they could be an apprentice, they would absolutely love to be an apprentice working on preserving historic buildings.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I think I'd like to be an astronaut, but I don't think they allow people in through the apprenticeship route. But there are space careers within apprenticeships. Whether I'd ever get to be an astronaut, I doubt it.
Keep dreaming, keep dreaming.
I know.
Well, a question for you actually, Sally. What's your favourite apprenticeship that you've seen?
Oh, lovely. Yes, I have a friend who makes tiles, and when I say makes tiles, I mean they're very art inspired tiles. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Delft tiles, which is an ancient sort of form of making the blue and white tiles, and you see them quite a lot with Dutch kind of Amsterdam sort of windmills and girls with clogs and those sort of, that's the sort of tiles that we have, that blue and white, blue images on a white background. But he does these really wacky tiles, and the things like little baby Yoda and little comments. It's quite funny, quite controversial, and is very much in demand. But he did his pottery, sort of his ceramics, through an apprenticeship route rather than university. So you can do on his work. It's just inspiring. I don't know where he thinks it.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for a really informative session.
You're very welcome. If you've got any questions, please go to Higher Horizons and have a little look on our YouTube channel as well. We've got lots of advice available, and we also run these every week, Wednesdays at 10, Fridays at 10. Please join us. We will give you lots of information.
We've had another question come in, Sally. This next question is, can I do an apprenticeship and then go to university?
Of course. Absolutely. Yeah. No question. If you wanted to do an apprenticeship to get a little bit of experience and get some qualifications, and then you can progress straight to university, you can do that. They are no different.
That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.